Well, I'm here with Mike McDevitt from Foundry Interactive, our incredible development partner in Seattle. So I'm out here in Seattle. We're on First Avenue.
Yes, we are.
Yeah, it's awesome. So normally for Tuesday Talks we do a phone call, but I'm here.
Yeah,
we
actually have you live and in person. So
I think everyone's really glad I'm not driving a car doing this. Everyone's like, "Are you going to get in an accident?"
It's
like, I'm not going to get in an accident, and so
Seattle drivers aren't very situationally aware.
Yeah. So this is way better.
Yes.
I wanted to talk to you a little bit because we got to talk a lot about the development, and we just got through future road mapping, but you've been an incredible entrepreneur. I mean, you were just talking about how you moved out here, and just tell me a little bit more. I mean, tell me a little bit of story about like the beginning prior to Foundry Interactive and like.
So I am exceedingly lucky. I didn't ever plan to like move to Seattle. I just happened to meet a woman who was from Seattle, and I was from New Jersey, right outside New York City, and like we met in New York and got married and lived in New Jersey. And she was like, "Why?"
Why?
And I didn't really have a great answer.
Yeah.
She's like, "We should try living in Seattle." So we did that back in the day, and as it turned out, like I had been working in publishing in New York, and there wasn't a lot of publishing out here.
In publishing.
So back when that was a thing, and then so I took a job with a startup called Expedia, and I was one of the first hires at Expedia.
Oh, that company.
And like we were going to do a thing about travel, and I really did not care. Like it was a job in this city where I wanted to live, so I took it. And I learned.
And it was the first job you took when you were here.
It was my first job in Seattle, and it was right before 9/11.
Oh,
honestly, right? So I worked. I woke up on the next day, and we had lost friends. I was a New Yorker, and I was just stuck on the wrong side of the country. And I said, "Oh my God, this is awful." And I'm like, think about those poor people who work in travel.
Yeah.
And my wife was a pastry chef at a hotel, and I worked for Expedia. She's like, "Mike, that's us.
Yeah.
We both work in travel."
Yeah.
And I was like, "Oh God."
Oh.
So it was a time at a startup that had a lot of things going for it, but not at the time. We weren't profitable. There was just a cataclysm.
How long did that take? Like,
how long did it take for Expedia to get profitable? Yeah. It took us a while, but honestly, like all things don't work out. The thing that you think is going to be terrible is frequently very good for you.
Okay.
The thing that you think is going to be amazing for you is frequently terrible.
Like in regards to app design or just...
in my experience, in regards to life in general.
Yeah.
Right? But at Expedia, 9/11 was like planes stopped flying. People stopped moving.
Yeah.
It was horrible for the travel industry, yet it was actually quite good for Expedia. Okay. Expedia found that it had solutions for people who had new problems that they had not anticipated having. They had systems that weren't geared up for handling that, and Expedia filled a niche. And I worked with our travel suppliers at the time, and we could actually do them a lot of good in that horrible environment that came from that horrible thing. So as a business, as it turned out, we had a solution for a whole set of new problems, and we had it when they didn't have their own solution. So we were a good partner in those days, and it was great for our business. It was not great for our industry. It was not great for the friends that we worked with our partners. Yeah. But that should have been a thing where at first you're like, "Oh my God, we're all going to lose our jobs. We're not going to make it. We're going to run on a runway."
Right.
And it was quite the opposite. It was the thing that allowed us to differentiate ourselves. 2008 is when we started Foundry, and it was a horrible time, except for the fact that it was exactly the environment for us to do what we were doing.
Right.
And that wasn't some grand strategy. We had already started doing what we were doing, and then the world kind of changed.
And you
It
started
turned
that
out to
with,
be-
like, did you and Bill start that to get, like, exactly together, or?
So Bill and I, my partner Bill Nordwall, we met at Zillow. We were both early hires at Zillow.
Okay.
And I was at Zillow because it was founded by the people who founded Expedia.
Okay.
So I just kept working for my friends.
Just-
I was like,
That
oh,
makes sense, yeah.
we got one under the book, one under our belt. Let's do another one. And I met Bill there. And then we had kids, and we were like, listen, Bill and I sat down, and we were like, listen, I didn't want to travel for work, and he didn't want to kind of be in that rat race. And we said, our households need X amount of dollars in order to function. And if I can do that in 20 hours a week, that's what I'm going to do. And I will not work a 21st hour. Like, I'm going to be at home with that baby. That's what I want to do.
Oh, that's awesome.
And every year we had that conversation. We're like, this year I want to make X number of dollars, and I want to do it as quickly as I can.
Yep.
And, the babies that we had at that time, one of them's 19, one of them's 16, one of them, and we've done, it's the same deal. Like, we started this on the premise that this was a tool to enable our lifestyle, not something that we were responsible for growing as fast as we possibly could.
Right. And you've done some incredible projects. Foundry's amazing.
We have had the benefit.
There's disruptive stuff too, but much bigger companies and much more mature.
We have had the benefit of, because we weren't trying to take all the business that we possibly could at all times, we could take the business that we really wanted to. We could pick projects that we felt awesome about.
Yeah.
We could, we could dedicate our labor and our effort and our expertise to things that we wanted to see made manifest in the world, as opposed to just pay our bills, which is a blessing. And it's a blessing because how we organized our lives and how we organized our business. If we had twice as many mouths to feed, we'd have to make very different decisions.
Right.
We just did never prioritize that. And as a result, I would never want to retire because I really enjoy the work that I do, because I work for people I really respect. And that's super important for me, because it makes every day not work.
Yeah.
But
I think, I've wondered this before. We're such an early stage, and I'm so glad. The work and the collaboration that we get from working with you. How do we get through the door? Because I know you're a stern people away.
From our very first conversation, the thing that was obvious, it would be clear to anyone with a pulse, is that you had identified a problem and you were trying to solve a problem. That's actually really rare. There are people who identify opportunities, and there are people who are trying to solve, the only problem they're trying to solve is their own wealth and comfort. And that was not at all what you were doing. And when you have a chance to be like, no, if I'm going to work on something, I want to leave less problems in my wake. I want to solve an actual problem. And honestly, there are only so many companies that are actually honestly organized around doing it. And when you come across one, you hold on and you help them in every way that you can, because who doesn't want to be a part of a solution? So that's why we love working with you guys.
Well, it's amazing because it is the best software in the world. And so I'm so excited.
It is always a joy to work with someone who has a vision and knows what they want and is intelligent enough to articulate it in a way that simple-minded folks such as ourselves can understand and execute against. We are just in the business of bringing your vision to life, and it is a joy to do so.
I'm so excited for this. I'm so glad to be here, and thank you so much.
Oh, no. We're glad that whatever, you lost the bet and had to call us or found us in the phone book or whatever it was. But that was a lucky day for us.
It was an introduction. Yeah.
Well, that's funny. 100% of our business, there are people who do, not everybody else who does, but we do. They have sales and marketing.
Right.
And we have been doing this for 18 years, and we've never had a sales strategy. We've never had a sales
because
effort.
You're turning people away.
Partly it's because we weren't trying to be giant, and partly is because every one of our jobs has a family tree that somebody who we work with before put us in touch with the people that we're working with.
Yeah.
It has been that way for a very long time, and that has been glorious for us because we really enjoy the people we work with, and they have amazing, talented friends, and it's been, a fun way to. We've been very fortunate that we've been able to do that.
Yeah, great work is better than marketing.
What's it like? Molson, an honest beer makes its own friends.
Yeah,
It's
I like it.
If you're selling a good thing at a good price, you don't have to hustle too hard to sell it.
That's awesome. Yeah,
I had earlier in my career worked for a little bit at Google, and there would be salespeople at Google, and they're
some
like,
names here.
I am the best salesperson in the whole world. I'm like, what you sell works and is cheap.
Right.
I'm like, you're not a good salesperson.
Like, you're not selling it. You've got the problem.
You won the I got a good seat lottery.
That's when, did you tell him that?
What's that?
Did you tell him that?
Yeah, I mean, depends on where they were in the org chart, but it was like I had sold other things that were not quite as bright and shiny as Google was, and I'm like, no, this is a pretty cush gig.
Yep.
let me tell you.
Yeah.
Nothing like product that works.
Yeah.
It's really joy in its own right.
I love it. Okay. Well, let's go hunt down that coffee, because for some reason we're having a hard time in Seattle finding a coffee shop open. So
yeah.
Here we go.
I mean, it's a weird day. It's moderately sunny, and there's no coffee.
Okay.